What was supposed to be a simple apology turned into the biggest scandal of the season. Kirk thought Ashley would finally back down, admit her mistakes, and end the drama once and for all. But instead, Ashley shocked everyone by flipping the script, exposing Rasheeda's darkest, dirtiest secrets right in front of him. Betrayal, lies, and a storm of revelations. This was the moment that changed everything. What was supposed to be a moment of peace turned into a ticking time bomb ready to explode. Kirk Frost walked into that room expecting something simple, an apology. After weeks of tension, after countless rumors swirling around, after whispers and drama shaking his household, Kirk thought this was the chance to finally put the chaos to rest. He believed Ashley was finally ready to admit her wrongs, clear the air, and end the conflict once and for all. But what Kirk didn't know was that Ashley came prepared with a different plan. A plan that would flip his entire world upside down. Instead of begging for forgiveness, Ashley arrived armed with secrets. Secrets that had been buried, hidden in the shadows, waiting for the perfect moment to erupt. And when that moment came, it wasn't Kirk who had control. It was Ashley. From the second she walked in, you could feel the energy shift. Ashley wasn't nervous, she wasn't timid, which wasn't about to back down. She sat across from Kirk, with a calmness that didn't match the situation. Confidence that seemed out of place for someone supposedly about to say, "I'm sorry." And that's when Kirk realized something was off. Let's rewind. This drama didn't just appear out of nowhere. It had been brewing for months. Ashley had already been caught in situations that raised eyebrows, and the tension between her and Rasheeda was at an all-time high. Rasheeda had confronted her more than once, demanding respect, demanding answers, demanding that Ashley stop crossing lines that should never be crossed. Kirk, stuck in the middle, tried to play peacemaker. He wanted balance in his home. He wanted the women around him to stop the back-and-forth battles. That's why he arranged this meeting. In his mind, an apology from Ashley could finally calm the storm. But Ashley wasn't about to play into Kirk's narrative. She felt cornered for too long, painted as the villain, pushed into a corner where everyone pointed fingers at her. And when people get pushed too far, they snap. It's exactly what happened here. As Kirk opened the conversation, his tone was firm but controlled. "Ashley, you know why we're here. This drama has gone too far. I need you to step up, admit what you've done, and apologize. Let's just end this." But Ashley's response wasn't what he expected. Instead of looking down in shame, instead of saying the words he wanted to hear, she leaned forward, locked eyes with him, and said, "Apologize. For what? For telling the truth. Because if we're gonna sit here and talk about apologies, maybe Rasheeda owes me one." The room froze. Kirk's eyes widened. That wasn't the script. That wasn't the plan. This wasn't how it was supposed to go. Ashley smirked, sensing his shock. And that's when she dropped the first bombshell. She started talking about things Kirk didn't even want to hear, private details. Things Rasheeda had worked hard to keep out of the spotlight. According to Ashley, Rasheeda wasn't the saint she pretended to be. Behind the polished image, behind the perfect marriage facade, there were skeletons in the closet that nobody wanted to address. Ashley leaned back in her chair, her voice calm but cutting. "You act like Rasheeda is innocent, like she's the victim here. But you and I both know she's been hiding things from you, from everyone. And since everybody wants to come at me, maybe it's time the truth comes out." Kirk's heart dropped. He couldn't believe what he was hearing. This wasn't a conversation anymore. This was war. Ashley began laying out piece after piece. Story after story. Moments she claimed proved Rasheeda wasn't as loyal as she seemed. And the craziest part, some of the details she mentioned lined up with rumors Kirk had heard before but chose to ignore. This wasn't just gossip. Ashley had receipts, text messages, screenshots, things that suggested Rasheeda had her own secrets tucked away. Kirk sat there, speechless, torn between disbelief and dread. He'd asked for peace. Instead, he was getting destroyed. The energy in the room shifted completely. Kirk's plan to mediate had collapsed. Now, he was just trying to keep control. Ashley, stop. This isn't the time or the place. This isn't about dragging Rasheeda. This is about you owning up to your part. But Ashley wasn't backing down. If anything, she doubled down. No, Kirk, this is about Rasheeda. Y'all love to act like she's perfect, like she's the one holding everything together. But the truth, she's been lying too. And I'm not about to sit here and take all the heat while she gets to play the victim. The tension was suffocating. It wasn't just about Ashley anymore. It was about power, control, and the image Kirk and Rasheeda had worked so hard to maintain. And Ashley knew exactly where to strike. She was bold, fearless, and calculated. Every word she spoke chipped away at the foundation of Kirk's marriage. Kirk sat there battling his emotions. Part of him wanted to shut it all down, to silence Ashley before things got out of hand. But another part of him, the part that remembered every argument, every late-night doubt, every rumor he had brushed aside, couldn't ignore the possibility that Ashley wasn't making this up. And that's where the danger was. Because once the seed of doubt is planted, it grows. And Ashley wasn't just planting seeds, she was throwing the entire forest fire onto Kirk's doorstep. By the time Ashley finished her first wave of revelations, Kirk was drained. He had walked into that room thinking he was about to get closure. Instead, he was left with more questions, more suspicions, and more cracks in his relationship than ever before. The meeting was supposed to end with Ashley apologizing. Instead, it ended with Ashley walking out with her head held high, leaving Kirk sitting in silence, his mind racing with everything he had just heard. And for Rasheeda, she had no idea what storm was about to hit her, because Ashley wasn't done. She had only just begun. The silence that followed Ashley's storm of words was deafening. Kirk sat frozen, the weight of everything she had just said pressing down on him like 1,000 pounds. Kay couldn't move, couldn't think, couldn't breathe. He had gone into this expecting a clean resolution. Instead, Ashley had ripped open a wound he didn't even know existed. But Ashley wasn't finished. She had only given him a glimpse of the truth, or at least her version of it. And now, she was prepared to unleash even more. Later that evening, Kirk found himself pacing back and forth in his living room. Rasheeda was in the other room, laughing on the phone, completely unaware of what had just happened. Every time he heard her voice, Ashley's words echoed in his head. Rasheeda owes me an apology. It's been hiding things from you, Kirk. The seed of doubt Ashley planted was growing fast, and Kirk couldn't stop it. He wanted to believe his wife. He wanted to believe the woman who had stood by his side through scandal, through betrayal, through public humiliation. But he also remembered every time Rasheeda had dodged questions. Every time she brushed something off too quickly. Every time her phone lit up and she tilted it just out of his view. Ashley wasn't bluffing. She had details, receipts. The next time they met, Ashley came prepared. This time, she wasn't even pretending to apologize. She walked in holding her phone like it was a weapon, and in a way, it was. Screenshots, messages, photos proof that Rasheeda had been moving in ways Kirk never imagined. She leaned across the table, her voice steady but sharp. You want to know the truth, Kirk? Here it is. While you've been stressing about me, your own wife has been entertaining someone else. Late night texts, secret meets, and conversations you'll never hear because she deletes them before you. Ever wake up? You think I'm the problem? The problem's been right in your bed this whole time. Kirk's heart stopped. His throat went dry. The room began to spin. Ashley slid her phone across the table, and there it was. Messages. Between Rasheeda and another man. Flirty comments. Late night timestamps. Nothing explicit enough to prove a full-blown affair, but suggestive enough to shatter Kirk's trust in an instant. He didn't want to believe it. He didn't want to see it. But he couldn't unsee it either. Kirk's voice cracked as he tried. To keep control, Ashley, you're playing games. You're making this up? You don't know what you're talking about? But Ashley only smiled. her confidence unshaken. "I'm making it up. You think I went out of my way to fake all this? Why would I? I've been painted as the villain long enough. I'm not sitting here to look bad anymore. You want the truth? Kirk, this is the truth. Rasheeda has secrets, and I'm the only one bold enough to say it out loud." Kirk pushed the phone back, his mind racing. He thought about confronting Rasheeda, demanding answers. But a part of him hesitated. What if Ashley was twisting the truth? What if these messages were innocent, misinterpreted, taken out of context? Rasheeda had been loyal before, hadn't she? Or was that just what he wanted to believe? Ashley didn't let him dwell too long. She kept going, piling on story after story. She claimed Rasheeda had nights where she ran errands but never came home until dawn. She hinted at industry parties Rasheeda attended without Kirk, where she stayed close to men he didn't even know. And she suggested that Rasheeda's business trips weren't just about business. Every word chipped away at Kirk's sanity. Kirk's sanity. But what made it worse was Ashley's delivery. She wasn't screaming and wasn't defensive. She was calm, almost smug, as if she knew she finally had the upper hand. For once, Kirk wasn't the one holding power. Ashley was, and she used it. To twist the knife. "You think Rasheeda is the one holding this family together, Kirk? You think she's better than me? At least I don't pretend. At least I don't put on a fake smile for the cameras while I'm sneaking around behind your buyer. Back. You've been blind. And I'm just giving you the sight you should have had all along." Kirk slammed his fist on the table, his voice rising. "Enough. You don't get to come in here and destroy my marriage with your lies." But even as he said it, he wasn't sure if he believed his own words. Ashley stood, sliding her phone back into her bag. "Believe what you want, Kirk, but when the truth comes out, and it will, you'll remember this moment. You'll remember that I tried to tell you and you ignored me." And just like that, she walked out again, leaving Kirk in complete chaos. That night, Kirk couldn't sleep. He stared at Rasheeda, who slept peacefully beside him, completely unaware of the storm brewing. He wanted to shake her awake, demand answers, show her the screenshots Ashley had revealed. But something stopped him. Maybe fear, maybe denial, maybe the hope that if he ignored it, it would all disappear. But the truth doesn't just disappear. The truth waits. And the more Kirk tried to suppress it, the louder Ashley's words echoed in his mind. The next morning, Rasheeda noticed Kirk's distance. He was quiet, distracted, and irritable. When she asked him what was wrong, he brushed her off. "Nothing. I'm fine." But she wasn't convinced. She knew Kirk well enough to see when something was eating at him. Ashley's plan was working. Slowly but surely, she was cracking the foundation of Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage. And here's the dangerous part. Once doubt creeps in, it's almost impossible to get rid of. Kirk found himself watching Rasheeda more closely. Every phone call she took, every text message that lit up her screen, every time she left the house, he second-guessed her intentions. He started asking quiet questions, subtle hints disguised as casual conversation, but Rasheeda noticed. She could feel his suspicion, even if he didn't say it outright. That tension grew like a storm cloud over their household. Rasheeda felt it. Kirk lived it. And Ashley thrived on it, because Ashley wasn't done. She had more. She knew that once she exposed the first crack, the rest would follow. And now she had Kirk right where she wanted. Him, confused, angry, paranoid, and desperate for answers. But the real bombshell, that was still waiting. Ashley hadn't revealed everything yet. She was saving the darkest, dirtiest secret for last. And when she finally dropped it, Kirk and Rasheeda's world would never be the same again. The cracks were no longer hidden. They were right there, spreading through Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage like wildfire for days. Kirk walked around with Ashley's words replaying in his head, twisting his thoughts, poisoning his trust. He barely looked Rasheeda in the eyes, afraid that if he did, he'd see guilt staring back at him. And Rasheeda, she felt it. The tension, the silence, the doubt. It was eating them both alive. But if Kirk thought things couldn't get any worse, he was wrong. Ashley wasn't finished. In fact, she was only just preparing for the grand finale. Word started spreading. Ashley had been talking, maybe not to the press, but to people close enough that whispers began floating back. Whispers about Rasheeda. Whispers about secrets Kirk never wanted to hear. It was one thing for Ashley to sit in a private room and throw accusations. But now she was bringing the storm outside. And once the streets start talking, there's no stopping it. Kirk confronted Ashley again, desperate, angry, and on edge. "Why are you doing this? Haven't you caused enough damage? If you've got something to say it to me. Stop running around spreading lies." Ashley didn't flinch. She looked him dead in the eyes and said, "Lies, Kirk, you keep calling. It lies because the truth is too painful for you to admit. But if you really want the truth, then fine, I'll give it to you. All of it." And that's when she dropped the final bombshell. Ashley claimed Rasheeda hadn't just been texting another man. She hadn't just been sneaking off to parties or disappearing on business trips. According to Ashley, Rasheeda had an entire emotional connection with someone else. Not just a fling, not just a distraction, but a man she confided in, leaned on, and trusted more than her own husband. Ashley's voice was steady as she revealed it. "You think she runs to you when things go bad, Kirk? No, she runs to him. When y'all fight, she calls him. When you mess up, she tells him everything. And you know what's worse? It's been in your circle this whole time. Someone you never thought would cross you." Kirk's stomach turned. His fists clenched. His heart raced so fast he thought it might stop. Another man. In his circle, someone he knew. Ashley refused to drop a name at first, enjoying the power of holding Kirk's sanity hostage. But when Kirk pressed, shouting at her to tell him, she leaned in and whispered a name that made his entire world collapse. It wasn't a stranger, wasn't some random industry man. It was someone close, someone Kirk had trusted. A friend. And just like that, Kirk's worst fear became reality. Betrayal wasn't coming from outside. It was happening right next to him. Kirk stumbled back, shaking his head. No, you're lying. This is too far. You're just trying to break us up." Ashley crossed her arms. "Believe what you want, Kirk. But the truth doesn't need your permission. It's already out there. We'll see it for yourself soon enough." And she left him there, broken. When Kirk went home that night, the energy between him and Rasheeda was unbearable. She asked him again what was wrong, why he'd been acting so strange. And finally, he snapped. "Who is he, Rasheeda? Who have you been talking to behind my back?" Rasheeda froze. Her eyes widened in shock, her mouth falling open as if the question itself knocked the air out of her. "What, Kirk? What are you even talking about?" But Kirk wasn't calm anymore. He was raging, shouting, demanding answers. He accused her of sneaking around, of texting other men, of leaning on someone else instead of him. He brought up Ashley. The screenshots, the whispers, the name she whispered in his ear, and Rasheeda, she was furious. "Ashley? You're seriously listening to Ashley? It's the same woman who's been trying to tear us apart since day one? The same one who can't stand me because she knows you'll always choose me over her. That's who you're believing. After everything we've been through, Kirk?" Her voice cracked, a mix of anger and heartbreak. But Kirk wasn't letting it go. He was too deep, too consumed by doubt to pull himself back. Every word Ashley had said seemed to fit too perfectly with the questions he already had buried in his mind. And Rasheeda's defensiveness only made it worse. The argument spiraled. Accusations flew from both sides. Old wounds were ripped back open. Every past betrayal, every mistake, every secret came rushing back to the surface. This wasn't just about Ashley anymore. This was about years of unresolved pain between Kirk and Rasheeda, pain that Ashley had exploited to perfection. Rasheeda screamed through tears, "I have been loyal to you, Kirk, even when you didn't deserve it. Even when the whole world told me to walk away, I stayed. And now you're throwing me under the bus because Ashley showed you some screenshots, because she whispered some name in your ear." Kirk stood there trembling, torn between rage and heartbreak. He wanted to believe her. God, he wanted to believe her. But the doubt was louder. Ashley's plan had worked. The fight ended with Rasheeda storming out, slamming the door behind her, leaving Kirk alone in silence. The same silence Ashley had left him in before. Except this time, it wasn't just suspicion. It was the reality that his marriage might not survive this. Days turned into nights, and the tension only grew. Rasheeda pulled away, tired of defending herself against accusations she swore weren't true. Kirk sank deeper into paranoia, unable to shake Ashley's words. And Ashley, she watched from the sidelines, satisfied, knowing she had successfully set fire to everything Kirk thought he controlled. But here's the twist. Ashley wasn't motivated by jealousy alone. She wasn't just out for revenge. Deep down, she wanted to destroy the image of Kirk and Rasheeda's perfect couple persona. She wanted the world to see cracks in their foundation, to expose the truth she believed had been hidden for too long. And in many ways, she succeeded. Because whether Rasheeda's secrets were real or just rumors Ashley manipulated, the damage was done. Kirk no longer trusted his wife. Rasheeda no longer felt safe in her marriage. And Ashley, she walked away victorious, leaving behind nothing but destruction. The scandal exploded outside their walls. People started talking, blogs picked it up, fans whispered. And suddenly, Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage wasn't just their business. It was a public spectacle. The perfect image they had worked so hard to protect was shattered. And the cruelest part, Kirk still didn't know what to believe. Was Ashley telling the truth? Or had she crafted the most convincing lie of all time? The answers didn't matter anymore. Because once trust is broken, even the strongest bond can crumble. And as Kirk sat alone, staring at the empty side of the bed where Rasheeda used to be, one thing became painfully clear. Ashley didn't just refuse to apologize. She set fire to everything. And Kirk was left standing in the ashes, and that's where things stand. Kirk shattered, Rasheeda heartbroken, and Ashley walking away with the last word. But the real question is, where does it all go from here? Is this the beginning of the end for Kirk and Rasheeda's marriage? Or will they somehow find a way to rebuild after Ashley's explosive revelations? We want to hear from you. Do you believe Ashley was telling the truth? Or was this just another calculated move to stir chaos and get under Rasheeda's skin? Was Kirk right to doubt his wife? Or did he let Ashley's manipulation destroy the trust he worked so hard to repair? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because this conversation is far from over. And if you thought this drama was intense, trust me, there's even more where that came from. Hit that like button if you were glued to the story. Subscribe so you never miss the next shocking update. And turn on notifications, because the next chapter in this saga is about to be even messier. This isn't just drama, it's a storm. And you won't want to miss a single twist.